In this video, we'll be taking a look at 5 college basketball games happening on March 22, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 10 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 5 college basketball games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. McNeese State versus Purdue. The 12th-seeded Cowboys are gearing up for a tough battle against the 4th-seeded Boilermakers in the Midwest region. McNeese State made a statement in their opening round game by pulling off one of the biggest upsets of the day, knocking off 5th-seeded Clemson on Thursday. It was an impressive showing for the Cowboys, who controlled most of the game before holding off a late push from the Tigers. Meanwhile, Purdue took care of business in their first game, handling a fast-paced, high-point squad with ease. The Boilermakers did what they needed to do, punching their ticket to the round of 32 without much trouble. McNeese State celebrated a historic moment on Saturday, securing their first ever NCAA tournament victory with a hard-fought 69-67 win over Clemson. Despite the close final score, the Cowboys were dominant for most of the contest, building a massive 4-16 lead early in the second half. However, Clemson refused to go quietly, going on a furious late run that cut the lead down to just 2 by the final buzzer. McNeese's 6'6" point guard, Quader Copeland, was instrumental in their success, filling up the stat sheet with 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. Brandon Murray came off the bench and provided a spark, contributing 21 points, 3 assists, and 3 steals. Purdue also looked strong in their first-round matchup against High Point, earning a comfortable 12-point victory. The Boilermakers were led by Braden Smith and Trey Kaufman-Renn, who combined for 41 points to help their team cover the spread. Smith, in particular, was effective in the mid-range and attacking off the dribble, even though his overall shooting percentage left something to be desired. One concerning factor for Purdue, though, was the lack of production from their supporting cast. Outside of Camden Hyde's 11 points off the bench, the Boilermakers didn't get much from their other role players, which could pose a problem against a physical and defensive-minded McNeese team. One of the key matchups to watch in this game is McNeese's backcourt size versus Purdue's perimeter play. The Cowboys may not have a dominant presence in the post, but they make up for it with their length and physicality on the perimeter. Copeland, standing at 6'6", has a significant size advantage over Purdue's Braden Smith, who is nearly half a foot shorter. That length could cause serious issues for Smith, making it difficult for him to operate in the mid-range, an area where McNeese excels defensively. The Cowboys rank among the top 3 teams in the nation when it comes to limiting mid-range attempts, and are top 10 in terms of opponent shooting percentage from that area. On the flip side, Purdue has struggled to defend inside the arc all season. The Boilermakers rank outside the top 353 in opponent 2-point shooting percentage and allow a high volume of 3-point attempts, with nearly 43% of opposing possessions ending in a 3-point shot. There's no doubt that Purdue is the favorite in this game. They have a talent edge and are the more battle-tested team, having faced tougher competition throughout the season. If the Boilermakers shoot at their usual efficiency, ranking in the top 20 in both overall field goal percentage and 3-point percentage, they should have enough firepower to move on to the Sweet 16. That said, Purdue hasn't been invincible lately. Over the past month, they've shown vulnerability, and McNeese is exactly the type of physical, scrappy team that could give them trouble. The Cowboys rank in the top 20 in scoring defense and the top 30 in field goal percentage defense, making them a tough matchup for any team. In their first round game, McNeese made life miserable for Clemson, a team known for its toughness and defensive grit. The Cowboys outworked and out-hustled the Tigers, which is a big reason why they built such a commanding lead before Clemson's late comeback. If McNeese was able to impose its will against Clemson, there's a strong chance they can do something similar against Purdue. When it comes down to it, Purdue's defensive issues make it hard to trust them to win this game comfortably, given the expectation that Copeland can make life difficult for Smith, limiting his offensive production. This game could be closer than the odds makers expect. As our first pick for this matchup, the McNeese State Cowboys to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Neither team comes into this game riding high on its shooting performance. McNeese, in particular, is perfectly fine playing a low-scoring, grinded-out style of basketball. The Cowboys rank 12th nationally in scoring defense and play at one of the slowest paces in the entire tournament, sitting at 229th in tempo. Meanwhile, Purdue has struggled to find its shooting rhythm in recent games, going under the total in each of its last two contests. Against High Point on Thursday, the Boilermakers looked uncomfortable from beyond the arc, which could be an issue against McNeese's stingy perimeter defense. Both teams were involved in defensive slugfests in the opening round, with both games staying under the total. The Cowboys ranked near the bottom of the tempo rankings, sitting 277th in Ken Palm's adjusted pace metric. Offensively, McNeese has scored 69 points or fewer in 3 of its last 5 outings, while its defense has been dominant, holding 7 straight opponents under 70 points. Purdue plays at an even slower tempo, ranking 304th in adjusted pace. Their offense has been inconsistent as well, scoring 76 points or fewer in 6 of their last 8 games. Defensively, the Boilermakers have been solid, keeping 4 of their last 6 opponents at 71 points or fewer. In their last 3 games, the under has hit twice for both teams. With both squads committed to making their opponent work for every basket, this game has all the makings of a low-scoring battle. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Arkansas versus St. John's. The 10th-seeded Arkansas Razorbacks are set to take on the 2nd-seeded St. John's Red Storm in the West region of the tournament. Arkansas battled through a tough, back-and-forth contest against Kansas in the opening round, ultimately securing the victory to advance to the round of 32. It was a hard-earned win that showcased their resilience and ability to execute in clutch moments. Meanwhile, St. John's had a far less stressful first game, easily handling Omaha in a dominant performance that further solidified their strong season. St. John's is playing as well as any team in the tournament right now, riding a serious hot streak over the past 2 months. They've been rolling through opponents, and with this game being played in Rhode Island, it's essentially a home contest for them. That should give them a notable advantage in terms of crowd support. Additionally, St. John's has been one of the better teams against the spread this season, posting a 22-12-1 record. However, Arkansas looked sharp on offense in their first-round victory and has the size to battle with St. John's in the paint. Another key factor is the return of Boogie Flan, who made his comeback in the previous game and should be even more in rhythm now that he has one under his belt. The betting line for this game feels like it's underestimating Arkansas, a team that has no trouble putting up points and has the type of athletes who can keep up with St. John's in transition. The Razorbacks have thrived as underdogs lately, especially when getting at least 5 points. Since February, they have gone 6-0-1 against the spread in these situations, and in 4 of those instances, they didn't just cover but won outright. That's a trend worth noting, as it shows they can compete with high-level teams. This game should be an entertaining battle, but I feel like Arkansas is being given too many points, especially considering they are getting healthier, and showed great poise in their win over Kansas. Even after relinquishing a late lead, they didn't fold. Instead, they regrouped, fought back, and secured the win. On the other hand, while St. John's put on a dominant display against Omaha, that performance doesn't carry much weight in my evaluation of this matchup. The Razorbacks have the pieces to keep this one close. As our first pick for this matchup, the Arkansas Razorbacks to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Both teams in this matchup boast well-rounded rosters, but if there's one defining characteristic, it's their offensive capabilities. They both like to push the pace and get out in transition, making this a game that could turn into a track meet. According to Ken Palm, St. John's ranks 47th in tempo, while Arkansas isn't far behind at 68th, meaning both teams prefer a fast style of play. I fully expect this game to be played at an up-tempo, back-and-forth pace with plenty of scoring opportunities on both sides. Each team has multiple players who can put the ball in the basket, and Arkansas is benefiting from the return of some of its key offensive contributors. That has shown in their recent outings, where the Razorbacks have topped 79 points in 4 of their last 5 games. Meanwhile, St. John's has been just as productive offensively, scoring at least 78 points in each of their last 5 contests. With both teams trending toward high-scoring performances and the pace of play expected to be fast, I don't see much standing in the way of this game surpassing the total. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Drake versus Texas Tech. The NCAA tournament rolls on with an exciting second-round battle in the West region between the 11th-seeded Drake Bulldogs and the 3rd-seeded Texas Tech Red Raiders. The game is set to tip off on Saturday night in Wichita. In their opening round contest on Thursday, Drake pulled off an impressive upset, knocking off the 6th-seeded Missouri Tigers with a 67-57 victory. The Bulldogs defied the odds as 6-point underdogs, proving that they belong on this stage. Meanwhile, Texas Tech took care of business against 14th-seeded UNC Wilmington, securing an 82-72 win. However, despite being favored by 15 points, the Red Raiders failed to cover the spread. This will be the first ever meet between these two programs at the Division I level, making for an intriguing matchup under the bright lights of March Madness. Drake's first-round victory over Missouri showcased their efficiency as the Bulldogs shot a scorching 54.3% from the field. Now, as they prepare to face Texas Tech, they'll be looking to pull off another upset and punch their ticket to the Sweet 16. Bennett Sturtz was the offensive catalyst for Drake in the previous game, dropping 21 points to lead the team. Off the bench, Tavian Banks provided a huge boost with 15 points, giving the Bulldogs some much-needed depth. On the other side, Texas Tech had a harder time than expected against UNC Wilmington, struggling to find consistency on offense and shooting just 39.1% from the field. Kerwin Walton stepped up in a big way, leading the Red Raiders with 27 points, but the team will need more from the rest of the roster if they want to keep their tournament hopes alive. If Texas Tech wants to move on to the next round, they'll need J.T. Toppin and the rest of their offensive weapons to find their rhythm against a stingy Drake defense that has been frustrating opponents all season. The Bulldogs aren't backing down from this challenge. They have already proven their ability to take down quality teams, with wins over Vanderbilt, Missouri, Miami, and Kansas State this season. Defense has been their calling card, allowing just 58.4 points per game on average. While Texas Tech boasts an explosive offense, Drake has shown an uncanny ability to force turnovers and capitalize on their defensive intensity. The Red Raiders will need to find a way to counter Drake's suffocating pressure by moving the ball efficiently, but that's easier said than done. Texas Tech certainly has the firepower, averaging 81 points per game compared to Drake's 70. The Red Raiders also have a solid defensive unit, giving up 68 points per contest. However, Drake's defensive performance against Missouri was eye-opening, as they held a team averaging 84 points per game to just 57. Whether or not Drake can complete another upset remains to be seen, but they absolutely have the tools to keep this game competitive. As your first pick for this matchup, the Drake Bulldogs to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Drake has consistently played in low-scoring contests this season, with the total staying under in 20 of their 32 games that featured a posted total. Their offensive metrics highlight their methodical style of play. They rank 75th in offensive efficiency, 56th in effective field goal percentage at 54%, 18th in offensive rebounding percentage at 36%, and an impressive 11th in free throw rate, attempting .432 free throws per field goal attempt. One key statistic that stands out is their pace. Drake plays at the slowest tempo in all of college basketball, averaging just 59.1 possessions per game. On the other hand, Texas Tech brings a strong defensive presence, ranking 36th in defensive efficiency and 53rd in effective field goal percentage defense, limiting opponents to a 48% mark. Their ability to create turnovers is middling, ranking 158th in forced turnover percentage at 17.4%, and their overall field goal percentage defense sits at 42.5%. Good for 101st nationally. Texas Tech also plays at a measured pace, ranking 266th in possessions per game at 65.8, meaning that neither team is looking to push the tempo in this contest. Drake's deliberate, grinded-out approach to basketball has made them one of the toughest defensive teams in the nation. Their ability to slow down elite offenses was on full display against Missouri, a team ranked 8th in offensive efficiency, as they held them to just 57 points on under 35% shooting from both the field and beyond the arc. Missouri attempted just 45 field goals in that game, which is a testament to Drake's ability to control the pace and limit scoring opportunities. Texas Tech, despite their offensive capabilities, will likely struggle to find good looks against this disciplined Bulldogs defense. The Red Raiders have been solid defensively all season as well, and with Drake's preference for keeping games in the 60-point range, this matchup is shaping up to be a low-scoring affair. With both teams playing at a slow tempo and featuring strong defensive units, this game is unlikely to turn into a high-scoring shootout. Instead, expect a methodical battle with limited possessions and tough, hard-nosed defense on both sides. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Brigham Young University versus Wisconsin. The Brigham Young University Cougars and the Wisconsin Badgers are set to face off this Saturday in the second round of the NCAA tournament at Ball Arena. Both teams are coming off strong performances in their opening matchups, and this game promises to be an exciting battle between two squads eager to extend their postseason runs. Wisconsin had an impressive showing in the Big Ten tournament, making a deep run before ultimately falling to a tough Michigan team. That loss was rough, as the Badgers struggled mightily with their shooting, managing to hit just 22.1% of their shots from the field and an even worse 17.9% from three-point range, connecting on only 7 of 39 attempts. Despite that poor offensive outing, Wisconsin remained competitive in other aspects of the game. They quickly bounced back in the NCAA tournament opener with a dominant win over Montana on Thursday. This time, the Badgers had their shooting touch back, draining 55.4% of their field goals while knocking down 80% of their free throws. They also controlled the glass with a 40-29 rebounding advantage. Wisconsin's offense has been clicking in recent weeks, as they have posted at least 70 points in all 4 of their wins during this current 4-1 stretch. In 3 of those victories, they have surpassed 77 points, showing they can put up big numbers when they find their rhythm. On the other side, Brigham Young University looked sharp in its opening round win over VCU on Thursday. The Cougars shot an efficient 50% from the field and out-rebounded the Rams 40-31. Giving them a strong edge in second-chance opportunities. However, not everything was smooth for Brigham Young University, as they struggled from the free throw line, making just 67.9% of their attempts. Turnovers were another issue, as the Cougars gave the ball away 12 times, leading to 17 points for VCU. Still, despite those miscues, Brigham Young University's offense has been performing well for quite some time. During their current 10-1 run, they have managed to score at least 73 points in each victory. As our first pick for this matchup, the Wisconsin Badgers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. These two programs don't have much history against each other, as their only prior meeting came back in 2011, when Wisconsin secured a convincing 73-56 victory. Both teams possess high-powered offenses, and it's difficult to imagine this contest turning into a low-scoring affair. Wisconsin has been involved in plenty of high-scoring games this season, hitting the team total over in 20 of its last 37 contests. The Badgers have also seen the overall game total over hit in 20 of their previous 37 matchups. Brigham Young University has been no stranger to high-scoring affairs either, as they have gone over the game total in 20 of their last 35 games. With both teams demonstrating a tendency to produce offensive fireworks, this game has the makings of another high-scoring shootout. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Gonzaga versus Houston. The NCAA tournament presses on with an exciting second-round showdown between the 8th-seeded Gonzaga Bulldogs and the top-seeded Houston Cougars in the Midwest region. This highly anticipated matchup is set to take place on Saturday night in Wichita, where both teams will be looking to advance to the Sweet 16. Gonzaga put on an impressive performance in their first-round contest on Thursday afternoon, dismantling 9th-seeded Georgia by a decisive 89-68 margin. The Bulldogs comfortably covered the spread as 7-point favorites, showcasing their offensive firepower. On the other side, Houston made an even stronger statement in their first-round clash, utterly dominating 16th-seeded Sue Edwardsville with a lopsided 78-40 victory. The Cougars had no trouble covering the hefty 28.5-point spread in a game that was never close. This will mark the first-ever meeting between these two programs at the Division I level, adding another layer of intrigue to the contest. This matchup features two teams that are playing their best basketball at the perfect time. Houston enters the game riding an impressive 14-game winning streak and has established itself as the best defensive and rebounding squad in the country. The Cougars boast a trio of skilled guards who can score at all 3 levels, making them a serious offensive threat. Additionally, Houston has been knocking down 3-pointers at an elite rate, making them even tougher to slow down. Meanwhile, Gonzaga steamrolled Georgia in their opening game, and they did so without some of their key players delivering their best performances. That speaks volumes about their depth and talent. The Bulldogs bring plenty of experience to the table and feature one of the strongest starting lineups in college basketball. Both teams have what it takes to make a deep run in this tournament, but Houston appears to be a more complete team. Not only do the Cougars boast an elite defense, but their offensive efficiency is also off the charts. They are shooting nearly 40% from beyond the arc and commit very few turnovers, making them a nightmare matchup for any opponent. Houston has been tested all season against top-tier competition and is built to contend for a national championship. Gonzaga, on the other hand, has not had the dominant season that fans have come to expect. Their schedule did not feature as many high-caliber opponents, and even in their win over Georgia, they allowed far too many offensive rebounds and free throw opportunities. Additionally, the Bulldogs have struggled to consistently knock down three-pointers, and Houston's size and length will pose a serious challenge to Gonzaga's front court. While Gonzaga has won 9 of its last 10 games and is peaking at the right time, this particular Bulldogs team is not the most talented group we have seen from the program. That said, their experience and coaching pedigree still make them a dangerous opponent. However, Houston has been dominant all season long, and their 19-15-1 record against the spread speaks to their ability to cover lines efficiently. The Cougars have been stifling on the defensive end, holding 9 of their last 10 opponents to 65 points or fewer. Gonzaga looked strong in their first-round win, but that came against a Georgia squad that struggled against higher-caliber opponents all season long. Houston's defense is on another level, and it will be difficult for the Bulldogs to generate consistent offense in this game. While Gonzaga has had the benefit of playing in the West Coast Conference, Houston represents a completely different kind of challenge. The Cougars' physicality, defensive intensity, and perimeter shooting make them a tough team to bet against in this spot. I would need more points to seriously consider backing Gonzaga here. Houston is the superior team and has all the tools to make a deep tournament run. This line simply isn't big enough. As our first pick for this matchup, the Houston Cougars to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Gonzaga has been an offensive powerhouse this season, ranking 7th in the nation in offensive efficiency. The Bulldogs also rank 21st in effective field goal percentage, 5th in turnover percentage, 2nd in overall field goal percentage, 15th in two-point shooting, and 4th in free throw shooting. They play at a relatively fast pace, ranking 44th in adjusted tempo with 70.3 possessions per game. However, they will be facing one of the most suffocating defenses in all of college basketball in Houston. The Cougars lead the nation in scoring defense and are ranked 2nd in defensive efficiency. They also rank 2nd in effective field goal percentage defense, 15th in forced turnover percentage, 2nd in field goal percentage defense, 5th in two-point defense, and 18th in three-point defense. Unlike Gonzaga, Houston plays at a much slower pace, ranking 360th in tempo with just 61.6 possessions per game. Both teams pride themselves on applying defensive pressure and limiting three-point opportunities for their opponents. While Gonzaga prefers to push the pace, Houston operates at one of the slowest speeds in the nation, which will naturally reduce the number of possessions in this game. Additionally, neither team gets much production from its bench, meaning that the starters will be logging heavy minutes in what figures to be a grinded-out battle. With Houston controlling the tempo, this game will likely be played in the mid to low 60 seconds in terms of total points. This matchup features 2 elite defensive squads, which means scoring opportunities will be limited. Given Gonzaga's struggles against top-tier defenses, this game is shaping up to fall short of the projected total. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.